XVM exclusive.
The most recognized source of hip-hop and R&B on the planet. This is the EMillio EgBar Show. Real hip-hop and R&B.
What's up, good peoples? How you living? Welcome back to the show. Once again, it's your boy EMillio EgBar. I want to say thank you to each of you out there that is tapped in right now with the EMillio EgBar Show. And if you haven't yet, definitely do us a favor and make sure you hit us up and hit that follow button and show some love. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're back once again. We got a special guest joining us here tonight and coming to you from out of the city of brotherly love, ladies and gentlemen. We got Philly in the house, and we got my guy right here. He's fam. He's been on the program many a times. First linked up with him back in 2017, so it's almost been a decade solid. Me and homie been down with each other and all that good stuff, man. So once again, I want to reintroduce to some of y'all out there who's familiar and introduce to some of y'all who is checking in for the first time, my guy, King Shampz. So Shampz, what's good, brother?
Oh man, I'm good. Again, this guy's the king of the intros, y'all. He gonna give you a hella five fucking intro when you coming in. So you sitting in the back, you know, you getting ready, like, woo, so that sound good. Let me step on in, man. I'm blessed, man. I'm glad we doing it, man. You know, and we didn't put time in, man. We've been building our programs, you know what I mean, supporting each other for a while, man. So it's always good to get with family and really bust it up and chop it up for sure. Thanks for having me back on.
Oh man, no doubt, man. I definitely appreciate it, and I definitely appreciate you as always. You know, been showing that support. Like I said, it's been almost a decade, man. It's like yeah, and you know, like in this space, man. If you got that kind of longevity with people, you pretty much tied in, man. So I definitely appreciate you, man, for still, you know, rocking with us over the years and all that good stuff.
For sure. Got the support, man. Got the support. That's a thing that's lacking. And that's something I want to consistently get better at. If there's anything that's going on, excuse me, and if it's my people's, I'm always going to support, for sure.
Nah, I appreciate that, man. Definitely, man. And, you know, we was chopping it up before, you know, the show started and everything like that. For those of y'all out there who hasn't been living under a rock for the last couple of weeks or whatever the case may be, I know this weather has been extremely retarded. You know, we dealing with sub-zero temperatures. It feel like, you know, you walk outside, your face freezes in like seconds. Man, how's it going on down there?
It's the same shit, different toilet, man. Yeah. It's the same shit, different toilet. This shit is fucking ridiculous, man. Like Superman out here taking cabs, you know, the devil on the train. Motherfuckers trying to get the fuck off this thing, man. So I've been literally chilling. You know, everybody got double hoodies on, double scarves, double coats, and still cold. So I'm hoping we can get a 45-degree day. I may bring a grill out then.
Hey, yo, it's funny you mentioned a 40-degree day because I was just watching The Wire earlier before me and you know, linked up to have this interview and all that good stuff. Yeah. And it made me think of that time when Stringer Bell says, you know,
he was like, what's a fucking 40-degree day?
Yeah, right?
I'm like, nigga, I'll take one of them right now. I needs that. Bring it over.
Man. Word, man. I have been out here breaking up ice for the last couple of days, you know, and all that craziness, man. Yo, man, I cannot wait till this snow disappears, man. Straight up.
Yo, the sun ain't working hard enough.
Word.
It ain't working hard enough. I'm like, damn, bitch, you get up there, you up there for a long time. Beam down a little bit, because it's sure enough beam in the summer. It's sure enough work on the summer. You be sweating like a motherfucker in the summer. Come on down here and melt this damn ice, man.
Word,
shit,
man,
I'm tired of slipping and sliding out here, man.
Like, do us a favor. Please do us a favor. Come over here and take care of that. Nah, man, but you know, man, there's always love whenever you link up with me, man. I definitely appreciate you once again. So, you know, for the people out there that is tapped in with you for the first time, I'm going to give you the opportunity once again to, you know, introduce yourself and let the people out there that, you know, is tapping in and getting to know King Shampz for the first time on this platform, tell them a little bit about yourself, my brother.
Absolutely. I'm a phenomenal artist, a phenomenal person first and foremost. I'm always going to be real and keep it real. I love to always make sure that my people is laughing and living life because there's too much sorrow that we deal with on a consistent basis, too much miserable shit we be dealing with. So I always want to keep it light. Me as an artist, I'm a lead artist. You know, I consider myself one of the best in the business as of now. I'm not going to compare myself to the legends because I'm not there yet. But in our realm, it's not too many motherfuckers that can fuck with me as far as this pen game. And if you don't believe me, go check my resume. And that's just the honest to God's truth. You go on all streaming platforms, you type in King Shampz, you are going to have an incredible experience, not only from the lyric perspective, but from a production perspective. You know, we put together cinematic projects where you can dive into the music and it's always repeat value. So if you're a person that loves hip hop and you love hooks and you like beats, and another thing too is we don't make scared of hoes music. That's something we don't do. We make street bangers. We make music that they can listen to, the real niggas can listen to. We bridge the gap, and your hip hop here can listen to that grew up listening to fucking, Cool Mo D and Spoonie G and shit. He can still fuck with it. You know what I'm saying? So when you start talking about the style that we're bringing, us a style like none other, man. And if you want, again, to listen to hip hop at an elite level, because a lot of guys are rapping out here, but they're not rapping. Check out King Shampz.
If there's one thing I always got to say about Philly, and I will continue to say this even until the day I stop really being involved in this space, Philly is definitely the home of the spitters when it come down to it. You know, you got your New York and everything, you got your Chicago, you got, other pockets around the country, that get busy on the microphone as well. But when it come to Philly, that aggressive in your face style, like really give it to you raw pause. Philly is definitely that city that doesn't lack for talent when it comes to MCs and lyrical, rappers that come from out of your town,
For sure. And it's a legacy that I'm proud to come from, and I want to continue. You know what I mean? But I want to take it, excuse me, to the next level. I don't want it to just be where it is right now. Like, I feel like we've had some success from the street rappers when you start talking about, Beans and guys like that, Meek and guys like that. We've had some success, but we never had like a it guy, like a Hove, you know what I mean? Or Biggie or whatnot. And I look up to them guys too. Shout out New York, because New York raised me lyrically. Like all of those big guys that wrote, that's why I write the way I write. I'm so super sharp. I combine the styles, the grittiness, and the in your face, you know what I mean? Just straight up, you know what I mean? Gutter shit from Philly. And then I combine it with that like lyrical swordsman, penmanship of those guys. So, I'm a different animal, man. You know what I'm saying, when it comes to this shit. But when it comes down to the legacy, man, I want to expand upon it. And especially with a record label like my record label, Dead Wrong Entertainment, me and my brother had made for a couple of years. That's our mission statement, is to really like take shit to the next level, not only for Philly, not only for hip hop, but for music in general. So, it's a daunting task, but we feel like we're the ones that can carry that mantle.
And if there's anybody up for the task, I definitely got to say it's you, that you are capable and more than capable of doing so. You said earlier, though, something that was very interesting. You said about comparisons. Now, I know a lot of us as, up and coming artists or artists that has already been established, when we get compared to certain, artists within, this space of hip hop, it sometimes is like a two-way street. So how do you feel whenever you draw comparisons to some of the elite level artists out there that we have come to know and love over the years?
Oh man, I take it as a compliment because I've studied the greats. So if you compare me to one of the greats, I don't take that as a slight at all. I'm like, absolutely. I believe that we need to start giving our legends, especially in the space of Black music, a lot more credit than they're given. And I have no problem doing that at all, because the thing is, we all were influenced by something. Now, this is what I would have a problem with. On the flip side of that, I would probably have a problem of you like trying to compare me to a motherfucker that's like right here, right now, where we're rapping. I'm like, nah, no. Like, no.
Right.
If you listening to me and listen to him, you can't really say like, oh, he's sounds like him or he has a similar style. Like, no, I don't sound like none of these cornballs.
Right.
Not at all. Now, if you talk about the legends, oh, that's a blessing to be compared to them because I'm studying them all the time. So being compared to them is no problem. And like I said before, I really want to give them their flowers and show that these guys influenced me because, like I said, I feel like we have an issue doing that, giving credit. And I'm not going to be one of them ones.
That is true. And one of the things that used to rub me a little bit the wrong way when I used to get comparisons is like, I would say, yeah, I appreciate, the comparison is definitely flattering when somebody, puts you in a category with some of the greats out there. But I'm like, yo, one thing I'm not is them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to never try to take away from their greatness by somebody giving me a comparison, whether it's just, them really feeling that way or whether or not they really just saying that just to blow smoke. Because, you got a lot of people out there, when they want something that they feel benefits them, they will try to, flatter you with,
Oh, they'll say anything.
Yeah, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? So I always used to be one of those type of people that's like, yo, I take it in stride, but at the same time, I'm always looking to, kind of like carve my own way. You know what I mean?
For sure. I definitely agree with you on that because you do have that element, and that's a real thing where it'll be a motherfucker just saying any old thing just to say it, or you'll have somebody that'll just say it to just try to box you in a certain kind of way.
True.
It's unfortunate that we live in a society where you got to watch what a motherfucker saying 2 times because they could be saying something twice. You understand? Like it's something under it. It's an undertone under it. So you have to pay attention to those things. Don't get it fucked up. You do.
Yeah.
But I just feel that, like I said, if I do get that legendary comparison, I'd look at it from the place in my mind of I'm on the right track. I'm on the place where I need to be because I understand fully as an artist. I'm secure in myself enough as an artist to be like, oh, nah, nigga, I know I don't sound like him for real. Man, like I'm cool with that. But if you compare me to something great, that means when you heard my music in your mind, this is how I look at it, that you've digested it as, damn, that's something great. That's something that I can fuck with. So that's cool. It's just like if a motherfucker, if I'm making burgers, you like, damn, that shit remind me of like, Del Frisco's Steakhouse. I'm like, nigga, I'm making burgers. How the fuck is the burger in the steakhouse? But I look at it from the perspective of a business perspective, like, well, shit, these burgers about to hit, boy.
Word.
You know what I mean? Like, we about to sling these joints. So I look at it from that perspective, too. But the way you said it is 100% true, where it's like, I'm not them.
Yeah, that's a fact, man. I'm like, yo, I appreciate the compliment, but at the same time, like, I move my pen to be known as my own self. I don't want to be, thought of like as the next Biggie. I don't want to be thought of as the next Pac or any of the greats that came before me because at the end of the day, that takes away from them and the legacy they left behind. Feel me?
For sure.
Man. So let me ask you, because you also brought up another interesting point before we get into anything else. You brought up another interesting point about, giving, those that came before us their flowers and whatnot, because they definitely do deserve it. And I find it very disrespectful when you hear a lot of these younger dudes out here, whether they doing it for clout or they doing it because they really don't know. I find it disrespectful when they do play those games acting like, this person ain't who they are or they're not legendary status. But one of the biggest things I've been finding very disrespectful here as a lot lately has been the conversation about ageism in hip hop. A lot of people feel as though like once you reach a certain age, you shouldn't be rapping anymore. You should move on to do other things, especially if you haven't hit yet as an artist. How do you feel and what do you say to those conversations out there that are being had right now concerning ageism in hip hop?
You know what? And that's why I love you, bro, because you're always going to give a very, very in-depth question. And it's not no bullshit. It's substance to it.
I appreciate
So
that.
first and foremost, because I always give people credit. That's why I go to certain interviewers where I'm like, I know I'm gonna get a good interview, and I know the people that are listening are intelligent enough to understand what you're saying just as much as the guest is saying. So I appreciate that, number one.
Oh, no doubt.
To answer the question, fuck that shit, man. I'm be very honest and very frank. I'm 33 years old. Okay, I'm not 18. I'm 33. But this is what I will say. The Clips just won a Grammy last night. They was nominated for a bunch of Grammys. Malice is 53.
Oh, wow. I didn't know he was that old.
Yeah, I think he's like 53.
Okay.
Or 50, like something like that. He's definitely 50. I know that for sure, right? He just won a Grammy last night. You talk about Nas winning his Grammy at about 40-something years old. You talk about Slick Rick coming out here doing numbers at 60, right? Hip-hop is in a place right now where if you are good, I don't care how old you are, you'll be recognized. Killer Mike just won a Grammy. Killer Mike is definitely in his 40s, close to his 50s. These guys are still operating at a very high level because the league is bad. It's just like when you look at the guys that are talking about it, when you start discussing the younger cats, the 17, 18, old nigga, get out the way, you in the way, X, Y, Z. Okay, let's talk turkey, right? Let's not talk bullshit. Let's talk turkey. We're looking at all of these younger guys that's coming out based off of TikTok numbers and shit like that. Why they ain't selling out no shows?
True.
Why they screaming against labels, and why are they out here not selling no merch? Why are they constantly canceling their tours? Why is it that you got niggas that you have a DJ Premier who has been touring for years consistently, and he's damn near 60, probably is. He's still touring. He's probably somewhere right now getting some money.
Right.
So when you talk about that ageism thing, I think it's a matter, unfortunately, and I will say it, of us as a race having that kind of thing. Of an ageism thing, of us not respecting our elders and elders, not old niggas. Let me preference that, because an old nigga definitely don't need to be respected.
Right.
He don't really bring nothing to the table. An elder is somebody who's seen it, who has wisdom and understanding, and can give you game. That's what an elder is. So I get that. There's a lot of old niggas that be talking to people and they ain't got no fucking information. So
That's
I get
true.
that. I understand that. But going back to the point of it, we have that issue with the ageism thing, because think about it. You'll go over to the older white artists, ABBA and shit like that. They're like in their 70s and 80s having top 10 hits right now. This is a recent thing. If you look at the billboards, if you're a student of this industry, a student of the game, you see that. You have these rock artists that have been touring 60, 70 years old, still selling out arenas. Still. But we had this thing in hip hop and other genres of our music that we've created as black folks, where it's like, oh, you in the way. You this, that, and the third. Well, explain to me this again. Why is it that all of these older guys that are out here right now are making the money? Kendrick ain't no spring chicken. He close to 40. Drake ain't no spring chicken. He close to 40. J. Cole, I believe, is 40. These are the top guys right now. Kanye, before he just did whatever the fuck he decided to do, was like 43, 44, still having success. Jay-Z, when he dropped the Black Album, was a cool 38. Ran shit. So again, when you hear that ageism thing, it's something that's being promoted, but then I'm looking at these people that are making the money and having all of the success, and I'm like, these are older people to you guys. Now, again, to me, 30-something and 40-something isn't old at all. Once you hit 50, you are older. It is what it is. That's how I feel personally. But you in your 30s and your 40s, you still have an understanding of what's going on and being able to connect with people. So I feel like that ageism thing needs to be examined a little bit more. Because I'm like, let's talk the numbers now. Let's not just talk about the age, let's put the numbers. Another example, Money Long and Monica and all of them, Brandy and them just had a tour. All them heifers is in their 40s. All of them, and they went out and sold out.
Right.
Made that money.
Well,
you talk about...
No,
go ahead. My fault, bro.
No. You good. My fault. I ain't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying when we talk about that ageism thing, and I know that's in R&B and we talk about hip hop, but it's translating to everything. Because I see it on social media, these different debates and things, whether it's R&B, whether it's hip hop, whatever the case may be, it's that same kind of conversation. And I'm just like, well, wait a minute. Why are they doing these numbers? And y'all get y'all TikTok fame, and we don't even see these little motherfuckers until they hit TMZ for holding up some kind of liquor store.
Or for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, like we see, like it's not like, oh, they didn't came back, they didn't, reinvented themselves, they're creating a new sound. Nothing of something positive. So again, I like to sit down and break that shit down to people where it's like, I can't believe that. And especially last night when we actually saw these dudes, like I said, Kendrick is close to 40, and then Malice is like 51, 52 years old. The Clips just had the best album last year. That was the best album. It was nominated for Album of the Year at the Grammys.
That's remarkable right there.
It is. It's a huge step. But when you start talking about that, and I hope I'm covering this. I hope I don't sound long-winded, but it's such an in-depth question. I felt like I had to answer it with substance.
Oh, nah, you good on that one because there's definitely a lot to unpack with that. Going back to what you said earlier about, the older guys still getting out here, being able to perform and, still go on tours. And then you look at a lot of the new up and coming rappers and artists and stuff like that that can't really sell out or having to cancel their shows. It goes back to something that I say often, and it's something that I always make the case for. And it's the fact that you got a lot of people out here, when it comes to making the music, they're not making timeless music. They're making music that goes so with the trend. Like, they're making music that you can perform right now, and it may be hot for a summer or two. But you got to also understand that this whole modern age consumerism, when it comes to the music, these days, people got short attention spans. So they're not really going to give you that much longevity when it comes to your music if they don't catch them within the first 5 to 15 seconds. So people are out here, they're being encouraged to make music for shorter, attention spans. And when it comes down to that, everybody's being microwaved because they're being forced to make music in this cookie cutter mode that, follows trends more so than what it is to be timeless. And when you got guys like, the Clips, when you got guys like, say, for example, Big Daddy Kane and some of the older guys that can still go out here, DJ Premier, that can still go out here, go on tour and still sell out. You're seeing that because these guys is making music that even though it came out, say, 1995, here we are 31 years later, it still sounds good because it wasn't nothing that fit right within that particular time. It's something that they can perform at any moment, where these people right now, they're making music and then in about 5 minutes later, it's not going to be as hot. You know what I'm saying?
That's 100% true. I couldn't have said it better because that's another part that I would say. Like you said, it's so layered that you can take it 100 different places. Oh, yeah. Like you said, the attention span is a different way, and that's one of the reasons why we dropped Hustler's Renaissance the way we did in a 5-track format, because I believe you have to adapt some of the things that's going on now while still keeping integrity. And what I mean by that is, it is that this. Instagram is an instant thing. TikTok is an instant thing. So it's just like you're trying to capture people. You're trying to get this, you're trying to get that. I believe you got to have some kind of hook, line, and sinker to get people in. And then when they get in, I still keep your attention span at a certain spot, but I'm giving you quality.
Right.
I'm giving you something that's elite where you're like, oh, I'm going to come back to that. I'm going to come back to that. I'm going to come back to that. As opposed to, like you said, it's nothing timeless. It's bullshit. Like you said, I remember having this conversation with a lady friend of mine. We going back and forth talking and shit. I'm like, yo, listen. I said, a lot of these motherfuckers ain't even going to be around in 3 years, 4 years. Like you said, Big Daddy Kane is still dancing, doing, ain't no half stepping.
Word.
He's still doing that shit. That record like 70 years old.
Word.
He's still doing that shit on the fucking road. A lot of these little niggas is making these records and you don't even hear those records no more.
That's a fact.
So when you said that, it jump started me again. I'm like, yeah, that's another point. He right about that. Because you see it.
Right.
You see it. This shit is bonkers.
It is crazy because you look at this whole situation right now, and I always said, like, you know, you got these artists out here, and I know I'm kind of like repeating myself, but it has to be said because I want people to understand that, like, when you have a situation right now where the music is already at a low value when it comes to it, it goes back to what you say. You got to do something that brings substance back to the table. And you got a lot of these people out here nowadays, like they want to talk about stuff that people can't relate to. And what I'm seeing right now is you're starting to see more of a resurgence of people wanting to get back to listening to music that they can feel, listening to music that relates to their situation. Like everybody's not in the club 24/7. If people are still in the club, then I can understand why you want that entertainment. But people are not in the club like they used to be. People ain't out here gangbanging. People ain't out here chasing hoes and all this stuff like that. People out here living a normal 9-to-5 life. So you got people out here that want to hear music that relates to them. And you know, you got the street people out there that want to hear the music that relates to them, but they're listening to the music that relates to them. You got a lot of people out here that just, you know, putting out a bunch of bullshit because they see everybody else doing it. And it was like, oh, well, you know what? If they got that person something significant like a bag or whatever the case may be, or got them, you know, TikTok fame or social media fame and virality and all that stuff, then let me go out here and do that. So now you're getting the whole substances being watered down because everybody's chasing what the last person did. You know what I'm saying?
That's 100% true. And I'll add on to this. I'm not going to listen to no motherfuckers that's still asking their mom and dad for money. That's what I mean by that. Not where you a regular day person, you like, hey, mom, I need that $100 till, you know, next week. I'm not talking about y'all. You trying to get through it, life hard, whatever. Now, I'm talking about a little funky ass teenager that's trolling people every day that has to get money in order to get to a fucking concert. As opposed to me having grown ass fans that I know they gonna have their money because them motherfuckers work. Right. Keisha gonna have her money when she comes to the show. Tony gonna have his money when they come to the show. This little motherfucker ain't gonna have no money. They're not buying merch. What's like I said again, talking the numbers and going back to what you said is the substance is watered down because everybody trying to be trendy, and trends are trends. Nobody's still doing the lean with it, rock with it, nigga. Who's still doing that shit? Nobody's doing the Dougie no more, nigga. And if you were there when these songs dropped, they was hitting. Everybody was doing it, whatever the case may be. But again, it's a trend. It's the same shit when you're looking at these TikTok dances. It's just internet is just capturing the lean with it, rock with it, and people are having a quicker moment with it, as opposed to them, where at least they got a record and a tour out of it. Now these motherfuckers is just getting the TikTok fame, but then they, you know, going live with guns talking about they gonna shoot the people if they don't buy the album and shit. They crashing out. It's a whole nother thing, bro.
Yeah, we are definitely in a crazy space right now, especially like, you know, when it comes to, you know, hip hop overall and getting into it. You know, a lot of people feel as though like the lack of substance, the lack of the things that, you know, made hip hop what it was, that made it so profitable at one point, is also what is now causing hip hop to be less valued. Now, you see a lot of people talking like, you know, one of the biggest conversations of 2025 was the fact that there wasn't a hip hop song in the top 40 of Billboard. Then you also hearing talks about people saying, you know, people that are within the music industry and the music business saying that, you know, hip hop is losing its value. It's not no longer the number one genre when it comes to music. They're starting to overlook hip hop for genres like, you know, Afro beats and pop and stuff like that. It's not really producing the same revenue it used to be. Now, when you hear that, compare and contrast to what we were just talking about, like, how do you feel about that whole conversation about hip hop losing its value and it's not really as marketable or profitable as it once was?
It's true. And it's a hard truth. It's a bitter pill to swallow. But it's true. When you go from years where you had Bad Boy and Death Row and Rap a Lot and all of these different boutique labels, LaFace, when you start talking about all these different labels and shit, where they had all of these elite artists and everybody was going platinum. It was at one point in time where you had Snoop out, you had Tribe Called Quest out, then you had Mobb Deep out, you had Big and Nas out, you had Hove out. You had these guys out and they're all going against each other. Platinum for platinum, gold for gold, record for record. And the revenue was up because guess what? You made like one guy more than the other guy, but all those dudes were elite songwriters. All those dudes could spit in their own ways. Like I said, you could pick whoever you like the most, but you had to respect it. Who do we have now in our genre that kind of captivates or captures what those dudes were doing? Being honest. Everybody's doing TikTok trendy shit. Nobody's being creative anymore. And hip hop has lost its luster. And I fear that if we do not get a handle on this thing, then hip hop will become a forgotten genre. It'll be some shit like when the Mayans built shit. Like it'll be something like that. If we do not get ahead of this, then it can be something like that to me. Because you're looking at it and country music has taken over. Like you said, Afro beats has taken over. And we don't have those records anymore because all of the music sounds the same. We have allowed business models to dominate music, which is based off of feelings and emotions. It was just like we were talking before the show with Struggle and Tears that we was talking about. You was like, you can connect to that song. You can connect, keyword connect to it because music is an emotional connection. You can feel what a person is saying. When you start talking about the music now, there's no feeling to it. There's nothing there. It's just cookie cutter. Let's throw it out here. And like I said, by us allowing businessmen to take over this thing of ours called hip hop, that's why it's suffering. Because beforehand, when you had all of the curators of hip hop that was coming out, it was like, no, this is what the street fuck with, and we gonna put that out. When Bad Boy started, that's how they was looking at it. When Death Row started, that's how they was looking at it. No Limit, that's how they were looking at it. Where they like, yo, we gonna do this shit for the streets and the people we know that's gonna fuck with it. And then white America and anybody else started to listen to it because we were setting the standard. Now you're letting businessmen take over our culture and push what they want out of it.
Now, two things to that. Oh, go ahead. My fault.
Yeah, nah, go ahead, bro.
No, what I was gonna say now, two things to that was one of them being, do you feel as though that is by design or is that by accident where we're at right now with the business being dominated by people that don't really connect to or relate to the music because they only see it as a profit line or a profit margin?
I think it's both. I think it's both, and the reason why I said it is it's definitely designed to go against us because you can go back into the 40s and the 50s and the 30s when music was starting to get recorded. You go ask them blues musicians how their money was getting funny back in the day. The industry has always been the industry, so it is the way it is with that. But I think that the accident happened really with us because we stopped giving a fuck musically. We just started chasing the fucking trend. And after a while, once you start to chase the trends, because it was one point, and let's be honest, when Atlanta took over at one point in time, and they just was dropping bullshit. Let's keep it the fuck funky. They had a new nigga out every day with a new dance and a new funny ass song. And them niggas ran it up for like 8 straight years like that. Well, if you're a regular person, what do you say? You say, well, shit, I want a little piece of that action. It's just like if everybody in New York was getting $2,500 a pound of weed and a turkey, you gonna say, shit, let me get on down here and fuck with them. See what they talking about. That's just human nature. I'm not even mad at human nature, but it was designed that way, and then it accidentally happened where people say, oh shit, we all making shitty music now. It went from one city to the whole country making this shit. And then it just became a domino effect because everyone just started chasing that particular sound.
And then also another thing is too, is that we allow too many people to get into this space that shouldn't have been in the space in the first place. You know, like a lot of people started coming in to hip hop, and I used to say it in the one reference I always used to throw out there when it comes to it, is a lot of people started treating hip hop like fast food. You know what I'm saying? Like an entry level kind of job to get into the music business, and we've allowed that.
Yes, 100%. You see all these different motherfuckers doing it now. Oh, I'm an artist. I've wrapped up to a point now. I'm an artist. I'm like, you know, like you said, and that's brilliantly put. Oh, I'm gonna have to start using that. And use this shit as an entry joint. They do. No, that's brilliant. Because they are using that shit like that, bro. Me and my brother Azan talk about this shit all the time. That's why the interview's going like a conversation like this now. Because I talk like this all the time, bro. Like I do. Because I'm passionate about it. Because it's like, yo, these motherfuckers really don't love hip hop, nigga.
They don't.
They don't give a fuck. They looking at it like, yo, this the quickest way to get a big booty bitch in a Ferrari, nigga. I'ma do whatever them niggas is doing and get that shit. They couldn't tell you nothing about I gave you power. They couldn't tell you about, you know, the Black Album. They couldn't tell you about Enter the Stage. They couldn't tell you about, you know, UGK and Mr. Scarface and Untouchable and shit. Like, they not students of this shit. Like you said, they use it strictly to come in, and we have allowed it. And I'm at the place now, bro, like I said in a previous interview, where I'm like, I'm trying to put together the movement where it's like, yo, bro, fuck the algorithm. We're not doing no more algorithm shit, because that's what all these motherfuckers is seeing. They seeing the algorithms going. It's like, well, shit, that's what everybody else doing. Let me get on that.
I agree.
And when you doing that, it pollutes everything. There's no purity anymore. It's like pouring shit in some water and say, oh yeah, it's cold. Nigga, what? I don't want that shit. The fuck you talking about? But again, they're using it to benefit themselves. They not fucking with the culture like that. And these guys that are in business, because the thing is, we talk about white culture vultures, but we need to talk about black culture vultures too. They're doing the same exact thing that they're doing. They're eating off of the genre and going on in here living their lives. And we can't allow that shit anymore. That's why you're looking at the Billboard the way it is, because this is the thing. Regardless of what people say about a Suge Knight or a Puff, and you can say a lot about these guys, but musically, let's stick to music. They cared about hip hop. They did. They brought you these artists. They brought you these legends because they actually gave a fuck about the genre. These motherfuckers don't give a shit about hip hop. As long as they can get a Latina big booty bitch and a big ass Rolls Royce, they don't care what they got to do for it. And that's why the genre is suffering. Because there's no more people that actually love this thing.
That's a fact. And one of these things I also see a lot here too, especially like with the way we're seeing things right now unfold in the music business. I feel as though like right now, this is the perfect opportunity with this shift that is going on right now within the business for us, so to speak, a collective within the hip hop community to come back and put it back where it needs to be and not in the hands of the corporations, back into the hands of the people. Now, a lot of people will hear me
100%.
say that. My fault.
No, I said 100%. I agree.
Oh yeah. Now I was saying like like I feel as though like a lot of people may think of me as crazy when I say this, but I feel as though like right now there is the window of opportunity for those who really care about what the hip hop culture is to come back and bring it back to where it should be. You know what I'm saying? Like take it out of the hands of the corporate control and be in control of the situation again. If y'all want to cast it all to the side, okay, cool. It could be one of them situations where all right, if you want to cast it all to the side, it's not really meaningful to you anymore. Then bet now we can get it back. We can start gatekeeping our own shit once again and start making it back to where it should be, where you only letting in the people that really care about it and only can do what they got to do to advance the culture and not just they see it as a profit margin. Now, get it that people are going to want to make their money off of it. That's cool. But when it comes down to it, I feel as though there's now enough room and enough space within this whole shift that we see taking place for people to step in here and, put it right back into the proper perspective that it should be in. What do you think to that?
I agree with you 100%. You ain't crazy, nigga. You're not crazy. You're not crazy at all. See, the thing is, people sound crazy until the truth is revealed. Mm-hmm. That's how it always goes. The truth finally get revealed, and you know what happens too. Right. Nobody ever gives that person the credit that told the truth. Mm-hmm. They just kind of go along with it. See, I want them niggas to kind of like my credit, so I will tell you, oh no, nigga, I said that, and fuck that, give me my credit now. But right. It's true though. It's true though, bro. Like right now is the perfect opportunity, and I think that's something that me and my brother relish at. We relish at the opportunity of actually taking this shit over, and that's what we're looking at as Dead Wrong Entertainment, where we're not only doing hip hop, but we're looking at R&B artists. We're looking at all these different things because I feel like black music as a whole is suffering because of that. Mm-hmm. Because think about it, R&B has suffered because everybody is doing their own hooks now. These niggas can't sing, but they're using auto-tune as the bridge point to have an R&B element. Mm-hmm. So that eliminates an R&B singer. Mm-hmm. So that fucks that genre up. And then R&B helped hip-hop because guess what? You had the ladies that really wasn't trying to listen to the bang, bang, shoot 'em up shit. So you look at somebody like a Biggie, a LL Cool J, a Ja Rule, a 50 Cent, all these guys. They bridged the gap with that R&B. Mm-hmm. So they were able to sell the records where it's like bam, bam, boom. So it helps out everybody. So right now, this window right now, like you said, is the perfect time to start to gatekeep. And gatekeeping needs to be brought back into full effect. Don't bring your monkey ass up in here if you can't rap. Don't bring your monkey ass up in here if you can't sing. We don't want that shit.
I agree.
We don't. So you're not crazy at all. It just takes enough people to have the same idea to push it forward. It's got to get pushed forward. This new culture, this new mindset has to be pushed forward. And we're soldiers of the same war, brother.
Right. That is true. But also, with that being said, the one caveat to that is you got a lot of people in this game that are playing the game for self. So, you got a lot of selfish people that are still remaining within this space. Do you think that they could see the bigger picture to come together and put this back into the perspective that it should be in?
That's true. Like you said, key word is selfish. I'm a person that leans on words. Mm-hmm. That's the person I am. When I hear that, I'll be like, that's what it is right there. It is selfishness because you see so many people say, well, shit, it ain't my problem. I'm going to keep eating this and a third. Mm-hmm. But what they don't get is, if you the black executive in there, how long you think they're going to keep your black ass in there if these people ain't producing?
True.
This is what people fail to realize when they're allowing dumb shit to happen. It's just like if it's somebody just robbing people up and down the street, right? Mm-hmm. And you just like, shit, they ain't hit my house, so I'm good.
Right.
Well, let me tell you this. Your house next on the list, nigga.
Yeah.
So you have a couple of options. You can defend your home. If you ain't that gangster, you need to call the police and get somebody that can get this motherfucker up out of here. Figure out what you need to do, because guess what? It's coming for you. There's no way to escape it.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening with a lot of these different people. So they could be selfish. That's fine. They'll be weeded out. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody can't join the revolution. Everybody can't think the way we think. That's fine. We don't need those people. We need to join up with like-minded individuals that have this same love and same passion for the culture. And there's plenty of those people out here. And we just have to connect the dots. When you're building something powerful, when you're building an infrastructure, it takes a little bit of time. But once it's there, it's there.
Mm-hmm. That is true. And then also, you know, what you saying that right there also made me think about the whole conversation of AI right now. You know, a lot of people are kind of in fear of what AI is going to do with the future and the immediate future of music in general, not just hip hop, but across every genre. Like, are you somebody that is worried about how AI is going to, you know, take effect or take shape within this space? Or you're somebody that, if you're like me, I'm somebody that feels as though that AI is going to have its say, but I also do feel as though that there's going to be a space still where, you know, human art is still going to be allowed to prevail, because you're going to have people out there that's not going to fully buy into the whole, you know, conversation or buy into the whole idea of AI replacing humans within the music space. How do you feel about that?
I feel the same way. I think what happens with people is people want to just have the new thing just become so successful. So they push the propaganda as if right here, right now, it's going to be successful. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking at it from the perspective of going back to human emotions and feelings. You can't connect to AI's choppiness. You ever heard how AI shit sounds? They're putting it on these ads and commercials. You automatically can tell this isn't a human voice. Mm-hmm. Immediately. I just brought XYZ. Who the fuck talks like that? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know who the fuck is talking like that. I just went and did this. And if you go there and you do that, you're like, what the fuck is that? I don't know what that is. So it's not a human connection, number one. Now we're talking, and that's just on advertisement. We're not talking about music. Now we're talking about, you're saying you're going to take that kind of voice and you're going to put music around it? That same kind of voice. It reminds me of the movie I, Robot. Mm-hmm. Where Will Smith was running around like, bro, y'all can't just outmode humans. Mm-hmm. That shit's not going to work. And he proved it, because when they killed that doctor in the movie, they couldn't get no robot to solve the case.
Right.
They had to get a human being to solve the case. So going back to your point, I don't think that it's going to affect artists. I think it's going to affect these. You know what? I think AI is perfect for these new motherfuckers. I'm going to tell you why. Because most of them sound like AI shit anyway. So once AI kind of come out and outdo them, they going to wash them out.
I honestly... Go ahead, my fault.
No, I was about to say, I feel like the real artists will actually benefit off of it, because people will be like, yo, you keep trying to shove and force this shit to me. I'm cool. Mm-hmm. I want to hear something real. I want to hear something authentic, organic. I don't want to hear that. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to push people into our direction rather than have the people run towards this AI thing. That's my opinion.
I agree with you, and I say the same thing when it comes down to it. If anything, AI shouldn't be something that you should be afraid of as an artist. I feel as though if you really are somebody that is dedicated to your craft, then it should motivate you to be better than what anybody else can create. The one thing about AI is it can help you create faster, and then maybe help you create and do things in a more enhanced environment when it comes down to it. But real creativity is simple. You know what I'm saying? People that out there that are really creating good works of art is very simple. You know what I'm saying? Where you look at the complexities of what AI is, you look at it and you see people just, you know, they're falling into it because it makes life much more easier for them. Whereas, if you keep it like with the artists out here that, really do care about their craft, the more simple you keep it, the more it comes out sounding a lot better. So I really do feel as though that you as an artist, if you're seeing this whole landscape play out and the whole thing, I think if anything, it'll probably have a bigger impact on the more mainstream part of it than what it will when it comes down to like the independent or what you see like in the underground or with people like you and I, in this space. You know what I'm saying? I feel as though that if anything, this should motivate you to be better at your craft than what it should be making you feel afraid that it's going to replace you.
For sure. I 100% agree with that, because you as the artist, you shouldn't, first and foremost, I don't think you should be worried about that kind of shit anyway. You should be, like you said, focusing on your craft and sharpening your sword. You know what I mean? Number one, because the thing is, people are always going to want quality no matter what.
Exactly.
I don't care. It's just like with food and clothes. You don't want no bummy ass clothes. You don't want no shitty tasting food. You're looking for quality. And that's what you're kind of seeing. So the thing is, like, I feel with the AI is trying to be almost like a McDonald's, where it's like fast food, but it's like bad. You know what I mean? Like, but we sell a lot of it. And I'm just like, I feel that. But when you talk about just artistry, when you start talking about human emotions and connection again, I don't see it going even as mainstream as a lot of people think, to be honest. I think you'll probably have more success with AI music, maybe in like EDM, because it doesn't take a lot of like human emotions to kind of make something like that. You can kind of put those kind of voices and stuff in there, and people are high off Ets anyway, so they don't give a shit. Like, that's kind of like where I feel like that thrives. But R&B, hip hop, rock music, like shit where you have to like write, I don't know. I don't see it breaking as much as a lot of people see it.
I don't think so either, man. I'm just keeping it all the way honest. And no disrespect to anybody out there who utilizes AI. You got to do what you got to do. But when it comes down to the overall conversation of it, people being replaced by it, I don't think that's going to be something that we have to worry about anytime soon. Even though you see it right now, and that's the hot button topic right now that everybody's discussing, I don't feel as though it's going to be something that is going to like totally just replace the human touch when it comes to music. And when it comes to the music and the human touch, you just recently put out your brand new EP titled Hustlers Renaissance Volume 1. So now, the first thing I like to ask was, what was the motivation behind this particular project, and what inspired you to put this out at this time that you did?
Oh man, I think it was going back to what we were saying as far as the perfect timing for the void that's in hip hop right now. I feel like this project exhibits what we're talking about as far as being creative, as far as showing a level of versatility and a certain kind of connection in the music, a certain level of substance. And that was something that we were going for. I feel like out of all the projects that I've dropped, this is probably the strongest one, and maybe the shortest one because it's 5 songs, but all 5 songs are very impactful. They don't miss. It's just like a 38 or 38 hole 6 shots. Whenever I hit all 6, we ain't worried about nothing. You got to bring that motherfucker off the ground, cuz. You know what I'm saying? It's the effectiveness of it. It's like a Mike Tyson, knockout back in the day. It didn't take that nigga 12 rounds. It would take him 1. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we still were impressed. We're still in awe of this guy. It's about the quality of it. So when me and Azam were putting together the project, we wanted to make it hard hitting and impactful as possible. And then going back to what we were talking about earlier, the attention span. You want to be able to keep people in a certain level of interest, but you don't want to have it drawn out. I think the days of the 20 and 30 track albums are gone. I think that you have to be able to adjust or you may die in this space. That's how my mind thinks. But I still feel like you should have that foundation that made the greats great. So as we were putting the project together, all of these different thoughts were being thought of. And then we say, you know what? Okay, cool. Now it's time to make the music. This is the fun part. You know what I'm saying? Being creative, trying different flows, doing different things with different bridges and things like that. Different things I wanted to test myself out on as far as different lyricism styles and cadences go. So it was a real fun project to put together. And it's been out for about closing in on a week now. And it's been doing some incredible numbers. People have really been tuning in. And we're happy with the results so far, but we know we still got to push a little bit more to get the results we're looking for.
Now, what you said earlier just now about, you know, the 6-shot revolver made me think about the infamous scene in Harlem Nights when Eddie Murphy says, it's not about how many people you shoot, it's about who you shoot.
Facts.
You know, going into the whole conversation about efficiency. Now, you know, you said something, you know, interesting. You said you feel as though the days of the 20 to 30 track albums are pretty much dead. You really think so? Because I kind of feel like it's still room for that to happen. But like you said, it has to be one of those situations where it's efficient, where it comes off as impactful. You like every one of them songs have to be something that's going to hold the interest of the artist. You know what I'm saying? I mean, not the artist, but the audience. My bad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It has to be that. You have to be able to create an experience if you're going to do something like that. I feel like if I ever made a 20-track song, album rather, it would be something of a cinematic thing where I'm actually like playing a character within the music, some kind of cinematic kind of thing where you're following it as a story as opposed to just song after song after song. Because let's be honest, we could love all of the different things that happened in 90s hip hop, but there's flaws in every generation. A lot of them niggas was dropping 25, 30 track joints and maybe 15 of them Jones was good. The rest of them was filler Jones.
That is true.
You know what I mean? Like, there's plenty of them albums. We like, yo, y'all niggas is just high as the motherfucker and say, yo, press record. Like, y'all, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, come on now. Like, this is crazy. If you knew that it was going to sound like that, then, bro, don't do it. That's just me. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like it's gone from that perspective. Now, if you're actually putting time and effort into a project and you're actually building it, like I said, from like almost like a cinematic thing, I think people would appreciate that. But if you just dropping the music like it's 25 tracks, nah, I don't think people can stomach it because these people barely can watch a TikTok video for 12 seconds.
That is true.
So how the fuck are you gonna put 25 songs in front of a motherfucker and your last name not Jackson and your first name ain't Michael?
Right, that is true. And I kind of feel as though, like, you know, the way social media is designed now to keep people's attention span shorter, it kind of goes hand in hand with the reason why people don't really like resonate with or give the music too much of a chance beyond 15 seconds. That's why you got only 15 seconds. I think it's more so a psychological thing when it comes to that. But I do feel as though, like, also when it comes down to it, like when it comes to albums these days, like the sequencing is just, you know, some of it just doesn't make sense. When you listen to a lot of these projects that come out now recently, the ones that you see that really do good are the ones that are really well thought out and well sequenced, whereas you see the ones where they just throw it together and you put songs that don't really make sense or don't really fit the concept of the album itself. Those are the ones that are struggling. You know what I mean?
100%. Sequencing is everything. I'm loving this conversation because, like I said, it reminds me of what it is me and my brother talking. But me and my other brother was having the same conversation. You know what I mean? Where it's just like, yo, like, sequencing is everything, and that's something that we did with Hustlers Renaissance and other projects where it's like we wanted to tell a certain kind of story. We don't want it to be choppy. You know what I'm saying? You see so many projects where it's like, damn, this song it shouldn't be track 1 and then track 2. This shit should have been track 8. You know what I mean? To make it sound a certain kind of way. And I think that again, that has something to do with something we didn't touch on. I feel like there's not enough producers in hip hop anymore, because when you looked at the guys who have all these classic albums, they all were produced. They were produced. There wasn't a thing now where you see guys where they just picking beats. Notice all the rappers be like, send me beats, send me beats, send me beats. And a lot of these guys are good rappers, but they don't understand song structure. They don't understand how to put together hooks, certain melodies for different songs, doing certain ad-libs that can fill up on the tracks. It's a science to this shit.
Do you think that it's more so an ego thing that, you know, a lot of these artists and producers don't really work together in tandem like we're accustomed to seeing, like some of the greats, like for example, Jay-Z's 444 album, when he worked with just one producer on that one?
Yeah, I think ego plays a role in it for sure. I definitely think so, because you look at every rapper, everybody has like a huge ego. I'm the nicest, I'm the guy, I'm this, that, and the third. It don't matter, you know, who I'm fucking with or this, that, and the third. And I'm like, I feel you. You may be having some success with this, but a producer and an artist, to me, always lay the foundation. It's like if you talk about Snoop and Dre. Snoop didn't really find himself again being honest as an artist until he linked back up with Pharrell. And he had them string of hits on Star Trek and everything else because he was being produced. When you listen to Doggy Style, he was produced on that. And I think a lot of artists, because of their egos, they're thinking, oh, the producer is running me. No, the producer is assisting you. He's helping you through this process in order for you to make the perfect product to supply to people. You have to have that kind of help. And they may have a certain vision, just like you as an artist, you're helping them because you're bringing their canvas to life. You know what I'm saying? Like, they may be able to paint it, but it's like, bitch, I got to be able to sell this at the art shows, nigga. It's got to be something that, you know what I mean, it intrigues the people. And I feel like that has kind of been missing because of egos and the culture shift. You know, once it kind of became a thing where, you know, you look at these industry guys now, the guys that are getting beats, they're selling beats for $2,000, $1,000, something less than that. When you had back in the day where Pete Rock would do a remix for a nigga, he like, nigga, I need like 40,000 for a remix. That I'm not doing the original. I'm doing the remix. The original, I may double you. So what the industry niggas did was they sat back and said, well, shit, we can't have this shit. We losing money. I want to keep that money and go fuck hookers with this bread. Y'all fucking my money up. So what we gonna do? That like this real shit. You fucking my money up. So it's like, yo, we gonna start getting these little motherfuckers from anywhere with the Fruity Loops. Fruity Loops fucked the game up for that kind of production shit to happen like that, because everybody's beats are sounding the same. And the artist no longer needs to work with a producer because he's like, why the fuck I need that? When everybody's beats are sound the same, but then the executive niggas is like, oh, everybody's beats are sound the same. Let me get one nigga, and for 200 beats, I'm gonna give him $10,000, as opposed to paying Scott Storch or Dr. Dre $200,000 for one track.
Shortcuts.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Shortcuts. So a lot of that plays a role as to why the producer rapper thing hasn't been going. Because look at the Clips album. Pharrell did the whole joint. And it's an exceptional project because they came into it understanding each other's superpowers, and they allowed the other one to be them. And you get products like that. Same thing with like a Hustler's Renaissance. When you put that on, you go and get an exceptional product like that because it's based off of the producer and the artist working together, as opposed to you just sending beats and you rapping over them and you the bull and he the producer and he the beat guy. Like, that's not going to work.
But see, another thing I feel as though kind of ruined it in a sense, not saying that it's ruined beyond repair, but one of the things that kind of like, you know, messed the game up. I know a lot of people have their, you know, their tiffs when it comes to the conversation about Fruity Loops or whatever, you know, very understandable. But I think one of the biggest things also beyond that kind of messed things up with the artist-producer relationship has been the fact that you got a lot of these producers out here and I know a lot of people, I know even you're familiar with this, you got a lot of these producers out here that like to lease beats. You know what I'm saying? So you got like 10 people or 20 people rapping over this same beat. And then, you know, you got all these people out here over the same beat. And then now when you get this one artist that pays for the exclusive rights to own that beat outright or whatever, now you got all these different songs, and now they're scrambling once again to find something that fits within that same cadence or within that same, you know, concept of that, you know, that song that they made to that beat, that they gotta go back and redo the whole song over again. So it kind of made a lot of these artists, you know, kind of like lack trust when it comes to dealing with these producers.
Nah, because the game is fucking everybody in the industry now that has figured out that they can do like bullshit con man shit is doing it.
That is
and
true.
It's always been that in the industry, but I feel like it's a lot stronger now because of the internet. If I am a producer dude that's doing that kind of shit, I may be living in Utah. Can't nobody come punch me in the fucking face for doing some clown shit to them.
Right.
You feel me? Like it's a whole nother ball game. I don't think back in the day when a nigga had to bring in a big ass CD of the beats on it, he knew whoever had that big ass CD was gonna buy it, and that was that.
Right.
It wasn't I couldn't lease it here, I could lease it there, I could lease it here, and then I could hide behind somebody. This internet thing, and then like you said, whoever pays the biggest bucks get it, and then everybody else is scrambling. There's a lot of bitch ass sissy shit that these motherfuckers is into.
Yeah.
So that's why that plays such a role. And like you said, that does play a role with rappers too, where it's like, well, shit, I ain't fucking with that.
Yeah. And that's something I've never really been a fan of anyway when it comes down to it, the whole idea of leasing the beat. Like if I bought and paid for this beat, then I should own it outright. Like I never was one that was ever comfortable with that whole idea of you have to lease this beat out in order for me to use it. And then there's a possibility that you got 30 other rappers that may be using the exact same beat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's a crazy process. And that's why I thank God every day that my brother made my beats, man. Like I'm thankful for that because it's hell out here for trying to get beats. I see and hear the horror stories of people dealing with those kinds of situations. It's extremely unfortunate. Something got to be done with that shit.
It is. Now, when it comes to, you know, Hustlers Renaissance Volume 1, this one right here is a little different other than, you know, like the music that you've been known for. Would you say that this is more so of a experimental, or was it more so intentional to be different from the other music that you have put out before?
Definitely both. I think definitely both. I think it was an intentional thing to be experimental in a way where we're trying different things, but like I said, still maintaining the integrity of hip hop. You know what I mean? Still keeping the foundation of hip hop with bars, beats, and lyrics. That's the basis of this shit, hooks and shit like that. But we wanted to show a certain level of versatility. You know what I mean? Not only with the production, but, you know, like I said, with the lyrics, the different flows and different cadences, whereas like those are 5 different looks right there. There may be 5 tracks, but they're 5 different songs. It's not a thing that kind of flows in a way where it's like, okay, it's kind of the same thing that we're kind of on the same page. And a lot of projects that go that kind of thing, they're cool. Like, don't get me wrong. But when we were going into this project, we wanted to show that kind of versatility. We wanted to be able to have a Don Juan and a Too Hot on there, but then have a Struggle and Tears on there too. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a lot of projects that show that kind of versatility nowadays. You listen to them and it sounds like the same song for 12 songs. As opposed to if it is 5 to 8 songs or 12 songs, it's 12 different looks. Now, don't get me wrong. You don't want to stretch yourself out and start doing a little bit too much of anything. But I feel like you need to show a certain level of creativity. And I feel like that's the thing that's lacking. Again, people are scared to take chances musically now because of that trending thing, of the algorithm thing, where it's like, be a slave to this sound. And we refuse to do that. Like, we're not going to do that. And I think that that's why so many people are appreciating the project now, because it's a rebellious kind of thing. Where that's kind of where hip hop came from, is rebellion.
That
It
is
never
true.
came, you know what I mean? It never came from cookie cutter. This is how it's supposed to sound.
Mm-hmm.
Public Enemy, them niggas was sampling 100 records at one fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about being rebellious. Talk about saying, fuck you, this the sound we gonna go with. And them niggas are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame right now.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think people be getting it.
Yeah. And you know, one of the things I've noticed myself kind of, you know, like gravitating more towards, especially this past year, 2025, is artists that, you know, take risk within their artistry. You know what I'm saying? Like, not only myself, but I'm noticing that also with the masses, where you got people that are stepping outside of that box that has been in place for the last few years when it comes to music. People that are stepping outside of that and experimenting more so with their creativity. I'm seeing those people that have been having the most success. Now, I can throw a name out there. You know, I don't know if you've heard of this young lady. She's an up and coming artist, but she goes by the name of Black Silk, and she has a album called The Obsidian Tapes that she put out. And even though she's only been rapping for about a year, like a lot of people have been, you know, like really speaking highly of this, you know, particular album. And me, even so, when I listen to it, I'm like, yo, damn, like this is definitely a breath of fresh air when it comes to creativity. Because, you know, when you listen to a lot of female artists out here these days, it's all about sex. It's all about my coochie wet and this, that, and the third, and you know, basically the whole rap. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they're just keeping it a buck. But when it comes down to it, when you listen to her album, it's nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like one of them things that's like, yo, this is a breath of fresh air because it's something new, it's something creatively different than what you're hearing from when it comes to like the mainstream female artists. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of other dudes out there too, you know, within the space musically that are putting out, you know, experimental albums, and they're getting a lot of respect and a lot of, you know, good feedback from that as well. So I'm feel as though people that are taking more of a risk these days are having the most success when it comes down to it.
Yeah, and I feel like just in general, in order to be successful in anything, you got to take risks.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be scared. You
Mm-hmm.
can't be scared of what people going to say because they talk anyway, good or bad.
That is true.
That's what people fail to realize. I tell my little brothers that all the time. I say, hey, nigga, they going to talk anyway.
Mm-hmm.
They going to talk anyway. So why the fuck am I concerned with what they're talking about? Because the thing is, their opinions change like the seasons, nigga.
That is true.
It could be good one day, it could be bad the other day. What you have to be is steadfast on your mission and steadfast on what you believe in as an artist, what you believe in as a man. And if you feel like this is something that you can bring to the world and you're not scared to do it, and you know that it's dope, you know that it adds up to the greats, you know that you have a product that a lot of people don't have, put it out there, man. Don't be scared. Take that risk. And that's something that we did with this project. And just like the sister is doing well with her project, we getting those same kind of same kind of feedback rather of people like, yo, like y'all took them risks, but I'm glad y'all did type shit. You know what I mean?
So speaking of talk, where has been the talk surrounding, you know, Hustlers Renaissance Volume 1 so far that you heard?
Oh man, people talking about that have from the fans' perspective, the supporters that have been fucking with us for years, they're saying it's my best work yet. They're saying that right now. They like, if you listen to all the other projects, you hear the maturity, you hear me finally growing into the artist that I know I am. As opposed to back then where I was still a dope artist, I could write, but I was still finding myself in a certain way, laying my foundation. Now I have it. I know what I can do. I know what I have to do. And the people are enjoying it. Then when you start talking about, you know, people that are in the media space and everything, I've been getting rave reviews. The projects have been rated as 9s out of 10s all over the board. The less I got was 8.5 out of 10. So people have really been in the review space, really fucking with the project. They said again that it was an experimental joint, but it's like a Hustlers kind of experimental thing. Like I'm talking from different lanes that a lot of people may not have heard. You know what I mean? And when the fans got it, I remember He was like, yo, you doing kind of anything and everything on here, but it's dope. Like, you just kind of doing what you want on here, but you're making it work. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at in the space of music. I'm like, no, I'm putting this shit out. I know this shit fire. And the results have been that, where it's just like, yo, no, it is. This is the project. This is one of the ones. I know a big time writer and a big time exec that I sent the project to. He said, yeah, in about a couple of months, you're gonna be breaking through. this gonna be the project that break you through. So it's been a lot of positive reviews for sure.
That's dope to hear, man. So now let me ask you. Now this is kind of going back to what we spoke about earlier when it comes to comparisons. Now we're gonna switch it and we're gonna put it under the lens of people calling this your best work to date. Now does that make you feel like they're putting you into a box that limits you from going past that, or does that put you in this space that if this is my best work right now, then my next project got to top this one?
I'm always in that mindset because I'm a psycho. I'm always in that fucking mindset. When it comes to music, I'm a psycho, bro. Like, I'm consistent with that shit. I'm always looking to be better and better and better and better. It's just like, I know you've been seeing me do the bars from the block thing.
Yeah.
And I'm taking on those kinds of beats because I'm like, oh, y'all niggas scared of these. I love that challenge. And there ain't too many niggas that's going to jump on Hypnotize.
Right.
Like, that's a scary beat. If you don't jump on that shit right, somebody will clown you.
Too many people can jump on that beat, though, to be honest with you.
It's true. No, it's true. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do things like that. Because I'm like, oh, no. I'm the kind of guy, bro, that I believe is 4th and 20, bro, and I'll look at their safety and call them a pussy and throw it right down the seam. That's how my mind works, bro. I'm a dog, bro.
Right.
Like, that's how I look at shit. So when I hear people like, oh, this is the best work, I'm like, you haven't seen anything yet. I'm working on my best work now. And then after that, it's going to be my best work again and again and again. Because guess what? I remember hearing Deion Sanders say something. He was like, keep making plays. Keep making plays. You keep making plays, you go to the Hall of Fame. And that's something that's on my bucket list of going into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And I don't give a fuck what nobody thinks. I know I'll be there with this kind of work. You consistently build a certain catalog, you'll be where you need to be. So I look at it from that perspective, bro, where I ain't even worried about that project. I'm moving to the next thing. Don't get me wrong. I'll listen to it. I respect it for what it is. I put a great amount of time and effort into that project, but I'm on to the next thing. I'm on to the next thing because you have to have a short memory, because if people say it's a bad record or a good record, like I said earlier, they're going to say what they're going to say anyway. You got to go on ahead and keep moving and understand what you're chasing. And I'm chasing greatness consistently. So for the people that's hearing that, I'm like, nah, that's the first of many. That's the first of many.
That is true. So no pressure at all, because, you know, a lot of people, when they get capped at, you know, somebody telling them that this is their best work or whatever the case may be, a lot of people feel as though they can't exceed that. So there's no pressure at all.
No. Well, pressure is privilege. Pressure is privilege. I enjoy the pressure because the thing is, God don't put nothing on you that you can't handle, Jack.
That's true.
And I believe that. He don't put nothing on you that you can't handle. And me personally, the life that I've lived, bro, the different things that I've went through in this life, a goddamn pen and a pad in the studio don't scare me, nigga.
I hear that.
It just don't. You know what I'm saying? I ain't scared of no ghosts.
Right.
Like, I ain't scared of no ghosts. I can't be. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm writing these records and putting this shit together, I'm like, no, we're going to keep it seating this. There's no pressure at all. Like I said, 4th down, I love the moment. I love the moment more than anything. Because you know what I know? I know that these are the moments that either burst pipes or create diamonds.
That's a fact.
This is the moment. You take advantage of the moment. I see motherfuckers fall at the moment all the time, not me. I watch Michael Jordan and Kobe all day, nigga. Tom Brady. I watch this shit all day. I'm like, what are they doing? What were they doing that made them the way they were? They were consistent psychos in their fucking craft. They didn't care what anyone was saying. They just kept getting better and better and better and better. And that's what motivates me, man.
That's what's up, man. And you know, this is good that we having this conversation because it's going to spark somebody out there that's going to hear this and they're going to feel motivated to do the exact same thing, especially right now with, you know, the conversation being that there's so many people within this space that hip hop overall has become, you know, oversaturated. So I think this is going to push people more so in the direction to stand out above the saturation, you know?
For sure. And I hope it does. It should. It should motivate you to go on ahead and do that, because the thing is, once you, what they say, a J Electronica says something where it's like, I went down Schitt's Creek and came up clean with a new lease on life like Andy Dufresne.
Yeah, I remember that one.
I think that was
Exhibit A.
Exhibit A.
Yeah, Exhibit A. See? My favorite song from him. Yeah.
Yeah, he was spitting on there, and that's how it is. Sometimes you got to do that shit. You know what I mean? You got to go through this shit, come up clean. You'll be all right. Keep hustling, keep grinding. Keep your eyes focused on your mission.
That's it. That's it. It's just like what they say in football. Like, you know, you throw an interception, you got to get in next play mode. You got to forget about that one. Yeah. And you got to move on to the next. You know, you can't dwell on a mistake you made, you know?
And it's 100% facts. And I think that's what helps me, too, because I'm a former athlete. Yeah. You know what I mean? Was recruited D1, big-time football player. You know what I mean? I just played the streets more than I played the game. That was just what I decided to do. But that same mentality I bring to hip hop, where it's like, it's the next play. I'm not worried about it. It's game time. Yeah. It's the fourth quarter. That's when you win. And I think that kind of intensity throws people off. But I'm like, no, like, I'm just that at heart. I'm an intense motherfucker because I know this the only way it's going to get done for real. So yeah, for sure. It's next play, because you're going to throw picks. You're going to have fumbles. The fourth quarter when you win the game, baby. Win the game.
When the game is on the line, when you right there and putting in that work, you know, it'll show and it'll shine through.
100.
You already. So with that being said, man, for all the people out there, like, what is next for King Shampz and Dead Wrong ENT?
Oh man, greatness, dominance, showing the world what we can do, and then shining the light on other brothers like yourself and sisters like the sister you was talking about, being able to give us a platform to go on ahead and succeed. That's my main focus, is building a movement that can't be stopped, not only from a music perspective, but from a creative perspective, a curated perspective, where we're giving those voices to the voiceless that really have not opinions, but factual statements that need to be heard and need to be pushed. So that's my main thing. Not only dominance for us, but dominance for our space, dominance for our culture, and just continue to put out elite music. That's what you're going to see. You're going to see a lot more elite videos, elite shows. Everything that we do is elite, and we pride ourselves in being elite. So that's what you want to see from us always.
Absolutely. So now let me ask you something real quick, and it's just something out of curiosity. Because, like, to me, I've kind of had, like, a little struggle with this here lately. And I want to know, like, platforms like this these days, being that there's just as many of us out here as it is, you know, artists, to be honest with you. You know, I don't know if a lot of artists out there or a lot of people out there really, like, take these types of platforms serious, or they give them the respect they deserve. What do you feel about the whole thing? Like, do you feel as though these type of platforms are beneficial to artists, or there's something that is just there? It's just a means to an end.
Oh, nah, they're very beneficial. I think you're a fucking asshole if you don't think that they are. That's just my personal opinion, because the thing is, these people that have these platforms like yourself and many others still have listeners, still have people that are tuning in with them. And if you're an upcoming artist or a big time artist, you should be using promo. These are places where you promote your product, you establish relationships. And then this is the thing, when you have go-getters, guess what? The network expands, because you could put me on something, I could put you on something. It's not only about the podcasting part, it's about the networking part of it, the networking aspect. And a lot of artists don't get that because they're not thinking from a business perspective. They're just like, oh, you know, he ain't the Breakfast Club, so fuck him. Nah, nigga, but you ain't Jay-Z, so what the fuck you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's put things in perspective for a second.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And make some sense of things. Let's use our heads instead of our ass.
That is true.
You know
and
what I mean?
And I asked that
So
question because, you get a lot of them out here, like you said, like they're not like a big time platform. A lot of these people would kind of like thumb their nose up to a platform like this. And I tell people all the time, it doesn't matter if that show got 5 people listening or 5,000. Somebody that you never know who's in that audience that can help you out. You know what I'm saying? So I always try to encourage people to take advantage of platforms like this because, like, radio is not the same anymore like I used to be. Then, you look at the streaming thing that's going on right now, and streaming is starting to even kind of like lose its luster when it comes down to it because it's getting so caught up in controversy these days. You know what I mean?
it is. And I feel like, especially if you're an independent artist, why aren't you doing interviews?
Mm-hmm.
This is a way that you can get your music out there without having to spend a bunch of money.
Mm-hmm.
You have to understand that. You have to understand that these platforms still, like I said, and I will repeat this again, have listeners.
Mm-hmm.
They may not be the Breakfast Club, but they still have people that tune in and support. And if you have a product that is dope, you get new fans, you get new followers.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a network now when you drop a project that you can have a promo run. Notice, and I'll go back to the clips, they had an old school promo run. We saw them old niggas everywhere. They was everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Why aren't you doing the same things? Why aren't you doing these things? Why aren't you doing it? And not only why aren't you doing it for promo, you should also be doing it to get your interview chops up for the next level if that's what you plan to do.
Mm-hmm.
You can only take small steps. Nobody just jumped up on stage and started performing at Madison Square Garden. Jimi Hendrix didn't just start performing there. He had to perform at the goddamn bar. He had to perform at the damn open mics. He had to put in the necessary work in order to get there. You cannot skip steps. And I feel like when people bypass y'all guys' platforms, they assholes. Because you not only are getting your music out there to different people, but you're establishing that relationship with these people where, guess what? Like I said, it could be an opportunity that comes up that you could give me a call about, or vice versa. And he's like, yo, we can take advantage of this, as opposed to you being shut off and being an asshole, and now you can't take advantage of an opportunity that can propel your career.
That is true. And it goes back to what we were saying earlier. A lot of people still think that the whole game is just on social media. It's above that now. Like, you got to get to a space now where, especially with AI coming and being more prevalent in the music space, you got to get out here. And this is something that I heard from Nipsey Hussle, may he rest in peace. You got to give people an experience that they can't stream. So, like, when you come to platforms like this, you got to give them that experience. So you got to get, not only come through, platforms like this, but you got to also get out there and you got to give them something tangible, something that they can touch. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people nowadays, you see physical copies are starting to make their return, merchandise, stuff like that. You got to give them something that they can hold on to in order to remember you by, because just streaming your song, it may work for the short time or whatever, but when you got them people out there that really want to connect with you, they want a real tangible experience with you. You know what I mean?
That's 100% true, bro. That's 100% true, and I think the smart people understand that.
Yeah.
The smart ones understand it, where it's like, yo, you have to be able to build an experience. Then you have to be able to figure out ways that's going to separate yourself from the rat race. I do interviews and promo because I know a lot of people aren't doing it as hard as I'm doing it. But it's keeping eyes on my shit. There's eyes on my page. There's eyes in different places now. Where it's like, damn, I'm seeing King Shampz everywhere. He's doing an interview every damn day, it seems. It's more, you know what I mean? There's more clips. There's more of this. There's more of that. And when you see somebody hustling like that, it not only makes the people that are supporting you appreciate your grind, but it makes other people who are getting introduced to you appreciate your grind even more, because they're like, yo, every time I go on this nigga's story, he got 2 new interviews. He got a whole nother song. He's promoting something. He's constantly busy. And I can't forget him, because it's hard to forget him when he's everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I look at it.
That is true facts. So for the people out there that is listening right now that would like to get in contact with you and would like to, like get your music, not only that, but also bring you onto this show and just connect with you on a different level, how can they make that possible, man?
Oh man, follow me on Instagram and Twitter at King Shampz, KINGSHAMPZ. That's KINGSHAMPZ. On Instagram and Twitter, I'm constantly on there. I'm constantly promoting stuff as always. Reach out to me, man. You know what I mean? We do epic interviews over here, man. You know what I mean? So if you're a podcast, you know what I mean, holler at me. If you're a person that loves music, please check out Hustlers Renaissance, Roz Corleone. All of the music I got is on every streaming platform. So don't start that bullshit like, oh, I can't find it over there. I can't find it over here. Motherfucker is on everything.
Right.
Okay? So go, you know what I mean? Because, they talk that shit to you now.
Yeah, right.
They start talking that, oh, is it over there? Yeah, it's over there. Press play, motherfucker. So... check us out on all streaming platforms. Check out the new project. You won't be disappointed. It's incredible music, an incredible body of work. We have an incredible catalog that I know that if you're a person that's actually listening to this show and you know how this brother gets down, he's not going to steer you in the wrong way. So make sure y'all checking us out. Follow me on those platforms and show us some love, man. We coming out with some elite music. We got a lot more things coming up in the future. So, holla at us.
Absolutely, man. Hey, yo, Shampz, man, I definitely appreciate you for taking the time to come up here on this platform. And I know I took a mad time from you and all that stuff here tonight, but it was definitely worth, the conversation that we had here, man. Definitely was good to catch up with you and all that good stuff.
Yeah, it's needed, man. It's needed, man. It's just like, when you see your cousin from down south, y'all ain't worried about time. Y'all talking to the end of the night, man. It's all love.
Yeah, exactly, man. So for everybody out there that's tuned in and listening right now, make sure y'all keep it locked and stay tuned. We'll be back with much more of the EMillio EgBar show right after this, you heard? Yeah.
The most recognized source of hip-hop and R&B on the planet. This is the EMillio EgBar Show. Real hip-hop and R&B.
XVM exclusive.